All right, guys, we need to study Ubisoft. I have said it before and I'll say it again. We need to figure out what has caused them to get to this point, why they are imploding, why they keep making so many stupid decisions, and where they go from here. Because honestly, I cannot imagine things could get much worse for them, given the fact that they've had to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows, that Star Wars Outlaws was such a flop, that Skull and Bones allegedly cost them more than Concord cost Sony. Things are getting really bad at Ubisoft. Now we're seeing a story about how apparently they are hiring for native Japanese localization testers in China rather than Japan. So again, this is coming from Shohei Kondo, and this is a That Park Place article. And Shohei Kondo, who's been a pretty relevant Japanese YouTuber talking about a lot of this stuff the past few months, found this application, and he's like, okay, so you're looking for local Japanese, right? Why do they always put Chinese to the Japanese? Like they put Chinese subtitles to a Japanese trailer. Again, mentioning how there is a lot of mix-up with people at Ubisoft screwing up, again, Chinese versus Japanese lettering, Chinese architecture in the game instead of Japanese, Chinese instruments being there, things being out of place, not understanding Japanese history and culture. There's been a lot of things over the past 6 months that we have seen them screw up time and time again on Assassin's Creed Shadows, a lot of which have probably led to the delay that we are seeing till next year. So he's like, this is really ridiculous. Native Japanese localization tester in China. This company, something that makes me really worried is that why are they looking for people in China? When they mention history expert, it's Chinese. Actually, if that's it, it makes more sense because there's a Chinese instrument and people are talking about the buildings and a lot of stuff looks like mostly in China. And I can easily tell Japanese are not involved, and this brings me another concern, he concluded. And this is, again, just another sign that Ubisoft is just not getting it. They're not getting it. They don't understand what they're trying to do or what they're trying to accomplish. And it sucks because, again, this is the company that once put out great games and now it's just putting out slop. Before we go on, make sure you check out MetaPCs. I do have a discount code down below. It's linked in the description. And again, if you are in the need for a gaming PC, a desktop for work, for at home, a laptop, they've got you covered. Everything is put together here in the US. They have 2 retail stores now in Arizona. You can go in and check them out in both stores. And of course, they've got US-based tech support and all the top-of-the-line components. So go check them out if you are in the need for a PC. The link is down below. So Burner had this little article, little news blib clip that he put out here on Twitter, talking about the creators of Dragon Quest. And again, this is another example of Westerners attacking Japan for any criticism of the modern agenda. This is more of the same crap that we've seen. Ubisoft Poll attacking Japanese people, people in the media attacking Japanese people, and now apparently the creators of Dragon Quest criticized this decision to make this whole body type A, body type B, type 1, type 2 crap, trying to make things more sensitive for American audiences so that they don't put a higher ESRB rating on it and make it inaccessible to a younger audience. And they think it's just silly. They think it's stupid. They're like, this is a ridiculous country we're dealing with. Well, the video has now been scrubbed, not before people online decided to attack them and call them extremely conservative dumbasses. This Evan Loves Wharf account, who's a pretty large account, like 51,000 followers, I don't know why, saying, I think Japanese people are extremely conservative dumbasses. And he's not the only one. We've seen Ash Parrish, who's been writing a long time over at The Verge and other places. And she'd previously said this about Assassin's Creed's apology regarding all the inaccuracies to Japanese history and culture, saying that y'all can quibble about if he was a samurai or whose swords he was allowed to carry. He was there. Everything else should be allowed to be artistic license. None of this is about historical accuracy. You just hate black people and use Japanese folks as convenient shields. Let us also dispense with the pretense that Japanese society isn't itself violently racist with its own form of ultra-conservative right-wing assholes that are more than happy to carry water for this cause. Now remember, this is all in response to the apology that they issued. And the thing about the apology was it was directed towards Japanese people. So if they truly believed that it was just English-speaking people pretending to be Japanese and not actually outrage from Japan, they would not have delayed this game, made the apology, or worried about it. However, we have seen rumors that they're going to remove Yasuke. Probably isn't going to happen. We've seen rumors about how allegedly the story was supposed to revolve around a Japanese samurai. There was this fantastic story that Endymion had about it, about the actual storyline for the game that would have been fan-freaking-tastic, would have been amazing. If that was true, then it's a massive swing and a miss here that they didn't use that story to begin with. But we are now seeing them put a focus on historical accuracy, and this is, again, them trying to fix the game by next Valentine's Day. And again, good luck with that. It's probably going to get delayed even further. But again, it's not even going to stop there. Do you guys remember this article from the New York Times? Came out, what was this? A few weeks ago even, September 11th? Yeah, so about 3 weeks back. Saying the fight over a black samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows. The video game franchise long emphasized its historical accuracy in settings such as Athens, Florence, and London. Then details of its first foray to Japan were attacked online. Now, I'm not going to rehash the entire article. I want to skip down here to the part where they had yet again another quote, Japanese expert that they brought on. So you see here, this was the quote from Ubisoft. And it says, "We share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for the historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage." The statement read, "From its inception, the series has taken creative license and incorporated fantasy elements to craft engaging and immersive experience. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this." Then this person that wrote the article, talks to Kazuma Hashimoto, a, quote, Japanese consultant and translator in the video game industry, who said the reception of Assassin's Creed Shadows was mostly positive in Japan, despite the fact that we're seeing them try to fix the game for historical accuracy. This person, Kazuma Hashimoto, claimed that it was being basically review bombed or attacked by Westerners. It was people, this is again in quotes, in the West who were upset with seeing Yasuke as a samurai, he said, explaining that many of the negative online comments written in Japanese appeared to have been roughly translated from English. Again, if that were true, then they wouldn't be trying to fix the historical inaccuracies or apologize to Japanese people. However, this person, Kazuma Hashimoto, who has been exposed as being a Sweet Baby Inc. former employee, as somebody who doesn't even live in Japan, it's I believe a trans man, so a woman living as a man, who goes by an anime name as their name. Again, that's literally how they identify now, is with the name of an anime character, allegedly. Also wrote this article on Ghost of Tsushima going back 4 years ago. Now, again, Ghost of Tsushima has been brought back up due to the fact that they have this sequel that's been announced with the voice actress who's very controversial. We're not going to get into that. We already discussed that to death. I don't want to talk about that in this video. But it is more of this issue about people viewing Japan a certain way and treating Japanese people a certain way based on their perception of Japanese people. So if you go back 4 years and look at this article about Ghost of Tsushima from this allegedly, quote, Japanese expert, Japanese historian, on Ghost of Tsushima, Kurosawa, and the political myth of the samurai, unpacking the baggage of well-intentioned homage. Now, there's only a few parts of this article I really want to focus on. And this is, again, the person here, the woman living as a man with an anime name, that says, embracing Kurosawa as an eponymous style for samurai adventures, the creatives behind Ghost of Tsushima enter an arena of identity and cultural understanding that they never grapple with. The conversation surrounding samurai did not end or begin with Kurosawa films, as Japan's current political forces continue to reinterpret history for their own benefit. So again, attacking current-day Japan. It says, Ghost of Tsushima is part of that lineage, packing in action and drama to echo Kurosawa's legacy. We will face death and defend our home, Shimura, the Lord of Tsushima, says within the first few minutes of the game. Tradition, courage, honor, these are what makes us. He rallies his men with this reminder of what comprises the belief of the samurai. They will die for their country, they will die for their people, but doing so will bring them honor. Honor and tradition and courage above all else are what make the samurai. Except, that wasn't always the belief. It wasn't what Kurosawa bought whole cloth, and none of the message can be untangled from how center and alt-right politicians in modern Japan talk about, quote, the code today. The modern Bushido Code, or rather the interpretation of the Bushido Code coined in the 1900s by Inazo Notobi, was utilized in and thus deeply ingrained into Japanese military culture. An easy example of how the code influenced Imperial Japan's military would be the kamikaze pilots, officially known as the Tokubetsu Kogekitai, I believe it's the pronunciation. While these extremes, loyalty and honor until death or capture, aren't as present in the myth of the samurai that has ingrained itself into modern ultra-nationalist circles, they manifest in different yet still insidious ways. Do you see how this person speaks about Japan and Japanese nationalism? Okay? I'm a big fan of nationalism. I think everybody should be proud of their country and want to defend it. So again, this is very interesting to be reading this about Japan, you know? In 2019, to celebrate the ushering in of the Reiwa era, the conservative Liberal Democratic Party commissioned Final Fantasy artist Yoshitaka Amano to depict Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe as a samurai. Though described as being center-right, various members of the LDP have engaged in or have been in full support of historical revisionism, including the editing of textbooks to either soften or completely omit the language surrounding war crimes committed by Imperial Japan. Abe himself has been linked to supporting xenophobic curriculums, with his wife donating $9,000 to set up an ultra-nationalist school that pushed anti-Korean and anti-Chinese rhetoric. Now, again, you can disagree with policy, you can disagree with party, you can disagree with like any sort of thing. But when you go through this article and you read the way that this person, who allegedly was this Japanese expert that the New York Times consulted with to talk about the translation of Japanese people's words and whether or not it was English-speaking people or actual Japanese people, and then you realize that this person has this deep embedded hatred for Japan, it just explains so much when you see all of this criticism, whether it's about, again, Ghosts of Yotei, whether it's about Assassin's Creed Shadows, Dragon Quest III, again, Square Enix being a company that's pretty much captured by DEI at this point, same with Sony, same with Ubisoft, and you see the way that they talk about Japan, and everything just starts to make more sense, and you go, these people truly hate what Japan represents. And again, we've seen companies coming out of Korea, games like, First Descendant, we've seen China having Black Myth Wukong, and of course, Vindictus Defying Fate, coming from a Korean studio, coming out next year, I believe, where we have hope that the video game industry will get better. But Japan seems to be where they're laser focused, attacking people, attacking the developers, attacking the culture as being simply like xenophobic, ultra nationalistic, right wing, a bunch of bigots, and just it's just pathetic. You can see it's an obvious attack on their culture, and I think the Japanese are getting sick and tired of it. But you guys let me know what you think about all this. Check out Meta PCs, link is down below, and I will catch you on the next one. All right, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.